either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
Revenge is never a straight line. Except for in this one, it's kind of a straight line for part 2.
This is pretty straightforward, yeah.
Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. I'm Nico.
And I'm Chris.
And we're continuing our Quentin Tarantino female revenge arc with Kill Bill Volume 2.
Which is really just the second half of Kill Bill.
Yep. Pretty much one, and that's the thing, he does consider this as one movie. It's not technically 2 parts.
He really does. Any interview that you find where he talks about this movie, that is like his biggest takeaway is, yeah, he's not disappointed that it got made and that he got it out there, you know, doing the 2 parts was how that had to happen. But this was really meant to be a one sit-through sort of situation.
Yes. So, Kill Bill Volume 2, like Volume 1, is based off the character created by Tarantino and Uma Thurman. It's directed by Tarantino and stars Uma Thurman as Beatrix Kiddo, a.k.a. the bride who has a name now.
Yeah.
David Carradine as Bill, a.k.a. Snake Charmer.
A great name.
Which I don't think they ever actually say his code name in the movie.
No, but it is credited as it at the end.
Yeah. Michael Madsen, R.I.P., as Bud, a.k.a. Snake Sidewinder.
Sidewinder. A great little name.
And Daryl Hannah as Ellie Driver, a.k.a. the worst code name in this entire series, California Mountain Snake.
And unfortunately, we will have to talk about California Mountain Snake a bunch, because this is the half of the movie that she's, like, predominantly in.
Yeah, and even that, not as much.
Surprisingly, no, despite that the first half of the movie, I say first half, Volume 1, it kind of, like, sets her up to be, like, the quote-unquote final boss sort of situation. Like, you see her being told to...
Or the boss up before Bill.
Yeah, like the pre-final boss, I guess.
She is.
Kinda. But it's not as dramatic as in the first movie where we had to fight 88 crazy guys. Yeah, like this, she's kind of boring.
I've got some thoughts on her.
Okay.
But our sources for today's episode include the making of Kill Bill Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
And before we dive into it, Chris, what are we drinking today?
In honor of Bud, we found the most Bud-adjacent drink we could, and you have found the palest of yellow beer in a clear glass bottle named Sol.
Sol Cerveza.
With a beautiful sun with eyeballs on it, like the little baby in Teletubbies.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. It tastes exactly like I thought it was gonna.
Definitely needs lime.
Oh, it's a little skunky because it's in a clear glass bottle.
So, Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah.
Again, like the last movie, while it seems like it's a little bit more linear to start.
True.
I kind of forget that this is technically on her way to kill Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also just so weird, too, because it's the only part of the movie that has this, like, noir style to it.
And I get the vibe that this was added once he learned that this was going to be a 2-parter.
Yes, that's exactly what my thought was, too. But it also works because it's been a minute since you watched part 1, it's a good recap of the movie, and it's only done in, like, 2 minutes, rather than some movies that are part 2 and then recap the first movie and take half an hour to recap it.
I appreciate how quickly we do recap this. And these movies did come, like, they were released in theaters a little bit apart. The goal that Tarantino had was, of course, he wanted them both released simultaneously. Go see part 1, go see part 2. Studio said no. So I think these were about 6 months apart for theatrical release. So, like...
It's long enough for the pop culture to forget it, like the casual moviegoer.
And the potential, like, friend or significant other to be drug along to Volume 2 who didn't watch Volume 1 or slept through Volume 1.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like we said, the first part is the question and part 2 is the answers. And I like that immediately it starts answering all the questions, starting off specifically with the story of the massacre at Two Pines, which reintroduces it. I like the way it reintroduces it as not just, okay, this happened. It's now become a legend.
Yes. Yeah, the answering of the questions, I appreciate that because this is now essentially a 4-hour-long movie, there's not a lot of questions left.
Mm-mm.
The only, like, real question is, like, basic world building stuff that we honestly really, it doesn't matter. Like, why do these guys need to exist? Who would they assassinate? It doesn't matter.
Well, it's,
the questions of the characters, those are answered.
So I think it answers a little bit more about the bride herself.
It does.
One, it gives her why her revenge is justified, even more so as we see, like, okay, she was having this, a wedding coming up. She had a potential life set out for her.
Which we saw a glimpse of what that might look like in Volume 1.
Yes, and one thing I like is that she has a new gang of women, but there's more camaraderie between them than just loosely because they're work acquaintances. It's like, okay, she actually has a friend group. She has a husband who loves her, or a fiance.
Yes.
Who clearly he's aware that it's not his child, but he loves her enough.
Yeah. And, like, they're not having a runaway wedding. Like, they're having a full wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, no one on her side's coming, but his side's, he's gonna have a full side.
Yeah.
And that's good enough.
Yeah, the in-laws are annoying enough.
Exactly. And this is where the details of this movie, I think, help build out Bill's character even more.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole first half of this movie, we are simply told, like, who Bill is. The second part of this movie shows you who Bill is, and they will go directly against everything Bill says he is.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it.
Well, it's because this is the old Bill. It's not the new Bill that we see there.
No.
Reformed Bill.
No. We will get to... I know, I talked about this a little bit in Volume 1. We will talk about, quote-unquote, new Bill, better Bill, at the end of this movie, and how I appreciate how Kill Bill really hones in on being a female revenge story. And to do that, A, she has to have a reason. We're given so. But also, another key part of a lot of female revenge stories, especially American ones, is having a quote-unquote bad ex or a bad boyfriend. Bill is the bad ex, and he plays it in the American way in this movie, and I will prove it to you at the end of this movie.
Yeah, you say that, but then there's like female prisoner Scorpion that has technically a bad ex, so it's
but the way that this one is handling the ex part, the action, all very kung fu, all Japanese inspired, for sure, without doubt. Characters,
Chinese wuxia.
Wuxia, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
First one was Japanese with a little bit of wuxia. This one
it's a lot
full on wuxia.
Oh, completely. So, like, the martial arts, the action of this film is very much foreign film inspired. It holds that very true.
Mm-hmm.
The way Bill becomes the manipulative, abusive ex, and does so very, like, cleverly. There's the clear and obvious, like, cut and dry, like, why he's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a layer to it that if you watch this movie as many times as I have now in the last month, becomes more glaringly obvious.
Alright, well, we'll get to it, I guess.
We will get to it, and I think it is a clever bit of writing that we'll talk about as those moments pop up.
Okay. Well, the one thing I do like how this movie starts to set itself apart, not just from the noir-style opening, but the way the flute bleeds in, like, starts to give it that Western feel and style as this movie transitions into more of a Western rather than a wuxia martial arts movie.
Really leaning into that Texas sunset.
But this is also where you can hear the music change where Robert Rodriguez did the music because he wanted to be part of something that Tarantino was doing.
Absolutely.
And he did all this before he even saw any of the scenes.
But it kind of works.
Yeah.
And this is where we learn that Bill plays this type of flute.
Yeah.
And this is to me the first small red flag.
Okay. Why?
Because this is the weirdest little date. Like, it's cute up front, and then the more you know about Bill, and the more you know about the bride and their character dynamics together, he's out here in the desert wooing her with a little flute. This is the stupider equivalent of a man with a guitar who learned to pick up chicks.
I think it's more of a, if I remember right, it's a throwback to Kung Fu. It's not that deep, Chris.
No, it is, because it's trying to set up, like, oh, he has this master, he's going to get her, like, set up later.
That's later on. This is
I know, but this is, like, the foreshadowing of, like, he knows more about the world. He's well-traveled. He knows an exotic instrument.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. He's trying to be a little bit more interesting than he probably really is.
If he wasn't the leader of an assassin's gang,
yeah,
he would be that guy.
Yeah. Well, it also taints the scene a little bit because we know where it ends up.
That's true. And I think that's interesting.
Yeah, because there's that little hopefulness of, oh, Bill's here, and that little of conversation back and forth of them stepping up to each other.
Yes.
And not promising anything, but just setting up that little glimmer of hope and freedom of normalcy.
Yeah. And, like, this is so well acted. You really get great emotions from both of them as far as, like, his stone coldness, him trying to play it off, her truly looking like she's very hopeful and excited. And then we get the little bit of backhanded insults. Well, who's this? Oh, this is my dad.
Yeah. Well, and also, I think what sets it up, too, is we know how dangerous Bill is.
Yeah.
We know he's
true.
A snake in his own right. But the hubby is completely clueless, and I think that's what really builds the tension is we know where this goes. Mm-hmm. We had that little bit of hopefulness of, okay, maybe he rewrote it in the second part.
True. Yeah, but no.
But no, there's that, like I said, there's always that level of dialogue that he puts in where there's like a hidden blade just beneath it.
Yes.
And I do wonder a couple things. I do think that he killed her because the new hubby didn't meet the standards, or just couldn't stand the supposed losing her to someone else other than him.
Okay, so this is where the theory of him being essentially the quintessential abusive ex starts to really shine through the more you watch this movie. This is, I mean, unfortunately, a fairly standard playbook in the I'm an abusive ex and can't share my feelings and feelings. So the extreme version is we're an assassin and we kill him.
Yeah.
And then we kill her.
So I agree with that 100%, but I also think it was him showing up to test to see if maybe she had found someone who was better than him in any other way of like martial arts or another skilled assassin like him.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
I think there's a little bit of that too, because if the other guy had been on Bill's level, there would have been something else to fight against. So there would have been like maybe bro recognize bro, but again, to your point, Bill was going to fight until the end, and this again is young, reckless, irrational Bill.
Supposedly. Again, though, keep this in mind that this is Bill's character minus the whole like leading a deadly assassin and having unnatural abilities. Mm-hmm. Bill's character is written as a pretty standard abusive ex.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is it's not just a test of the husband. I think it's
a test on her.
Exactly.
Because if she had left and come back with him, I don't think Bill would have killed anyone.
No. Yeah.
He would have probably beat her up when they got home. But because that's the abusive ex thing to do.
Yeah.
You lead them in with the lure. Oh, so sweet of you to come back. I'm so happy you did. Beat him up. It's her fault because you left the first time. Never do it again, and I'll never hit you again.
But I don't think there's anything outside of like her trying to kill him later on that has that kind of tinge to it. It seems like everything else up until then was hunky-dory because they were on the same wavelength.
We will talk more about that.
All right.
Because again, unfortunately, this Bill is the quintessential playbook of abusive ex.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But to deviate a little bit, again, to repeat why I like Tarantino and why when he not dregs up, but brings people back to the forefront. Mm-hmm. Carradine is one of those people in this movie because Tarantino cast him because he was one of those old icons that he grew up watching, and he thought it would be interesting. I mean, we know him as Bill and us a little later on, Frankenstein and Death Race 2000.
Absolutely.
But Tarantino grew up with him as Kwai Chang in Kung Fu, and so for him, he saw that as his opportunity to introduce a new generation to Carradine, and that would be it's Bill to him, but he's always going to be the Kung Fu guy for Tarantino and the older generations.
And honestly, that's kind of the movie that Tarantino wanted in the first place, was just these layers of pulling memories from his past, pulling memories from his childhood of like, oh, I remember this movie, I remember this style of movie. And he created Kill Bill so well that now for a lot of us, this is the movie. There is not the predecessors necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, I know Carradine from other exploitation movies like Death Race 2000, and that's
sure,
about like my extent, really.
But let's be honest, like, unless you're like us and you're digging through trying to watch this stuff, where are you going to run into that movie? You know?
Yeah.
Whereas Kill Bill's on pretty regularly. Yeah, it's at least well known.
It's like Peter Falk and Columbo. Most people our generation don't know who Columbo is. And I got curious because there were so many references to Columbo and a bunch of random stuff I was watching. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm watching Columbo.
No, absolutely. And it is interesting to see what references he pulls from and what he thought was not... I don't want to say he pulled from necessarily obscure stuff either. It was stuff that he watched readily. It's just stuff that we no longer have ready access to. Yeah. Or it's not broadcast.
Yeah, it's obscure to us. It's like listening to the commentary on Triple X.
Yeah.
When he's like, this is my homage to Kurosawa.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, dude, no one's gonna know that on...
Especially for Triple X.
Yeah,
it's a totally different audience.
Exactly. The one thing that I do find interesting in this next level of characters that he introduces...
I do like these.
...is specifically Bud in this next scene.
I find Bud so interesting.
Bud unfortunately has the least amount of screen time for, I would say... Because truthfully, I'm not as interested in Bill as I am, like, the bride's the most interesting, obviously.
Of course.
But Bud is kind of that second one where he has a lot more going for him, where he's very conscious of, like, how horrible he is as a person.
Yes.
And that,
there is some guilt there.
Yeah, she deserves her revenge, but at the same time, he's like, but fuck her, she also...
But I also don't want to die.
I don't want to die, but she also killed people, so who's really the moral good in this entire movie? None of us are good people, and that's what's great, is the bride deserves her justice, but she's not a good person either, and we kind of forget that because we get wrapped up in her story of her personal justice.
No, absolutely. And Bill is interesting in not only does he seem to be the only one in the group with any moral compass whatsoever, but also Bill's the only guy.
Yes. That's why I said Bill and his harem, or Bill and his harem with his brother.
With his brother.
Bud.
Which, okay, and here's the thing, is we said that the Kill Bill 2 answers all the questions in Kill Bill 1. But the question of Bill was never raised in Kill Bill 1. And so there are questions about Bill left unanswered. Mm-hmm. And I would argue he's the only character with questions left truthfully unanswered that I feel like I want answers to.
Yeah, he of the characters is the deeper... He seems more thoughtful than Bill is.
Yes.
And that's the other thing, too, is the way they contrast the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Bill knows a lot. I mean, he's not an idiot.
Of course.
But
Bud doesn't seem to have the skill that Bill does.
No.
But Bill clearly has a taste for the finer, exotic things in life.
Yeah, and Bud is much, much less refined, displayed in his languages with the various slurs he used that would not be...
they're not kosher.
Definitely not kosher.
But no. But on top of that, just like the sets that we see them in, Bill is lightly in hiding and lightly on the run. He doesn't want the bride to find him, obviously. Yeah. So he stays in an exotic resort in a nice penthouse. Bud doesn't want to be found either, because he would prefer not to die. And so he stays in a shitty RV in the middle of the desert.
Yes, and that's what's great about him too, is he seems, of this entire group, the more reasonable and rational.
He seems by far the most realistic. And this is the other thing that I find so interesting. Bud doesn't seem to have any actual power in the group.
No.
It's not like it's Bud and Bill. It's just Bill as leader, and then Bud is a snake underneath him. He's got a snake code name and everything.
He's like the little brother that your mom told you to take with you.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting, is it is lightly implied that Bill loves all of the snakes. He favors the bride, but all of the snakes seem to be, at least in some way, pining or longing after Bill at some point in their life. And Bill has, teased that on to create this little group.
Yeah,
and then there's Bud, who is, and I quote, the only man that Bill has ever loved.
Yeah. Well, and as we find out about Bill, it's a question of, is he really his actual, blood brother or not? Or are they kind of like that brother in arms kind of thing?
And we will never know.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's so interesting about about Bud, is the rest of the characters have some form of, wrapping up, and you can make a decent inference of, where they fit in the group, how they work. Bud is the only one who doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Bud doesn't seem to have any, like, special skills. Like, everyone else has, like, their espionage, their master of blades, their master of guns.
He is the best drinker, and he makes the best margaritas.
The margarita look nasty.
That's why they have him along.
You know...
He's their bartender.
He's the bartender. and again, Bill proves over and over again that while he acts the sentimental fool, it's all in justice of what Bill wants. Mm-hmm. Bud must have something that Bill wants, because otherwise, brother or not, blood brother, brother in arms or not, I think Bill would have gotten rid of him if he wasn't useful.
Yeah, so there's...
like, what is his job? What is he? Why is he in this group?
I don't know. And that's the other thing, too, is what makes him a little bit more special is that he got him to be made a Hattori Hanzo. He didn't let the bride have one. No. And maybe that shows their level of...
dedication to each other?
Dedication or level of trust is that he's willing to give this other man a Hattori Hanzo sword.
True.
Because he can trust this guy not to stab him in the back with it, whereas like he doesn't give it to any of the other snakes.
No.
Because otherwise it's like, okay, they might turn on him.
Which is interesting because it also, like, we aren't shown that Bud is proficient in any weapon.
He's okay here.
Bud is not bad, but everyone else has a specialty.
No, okay, here's what here's what I think.
Okay.
Bud is a planner.
Oh.
That's probably that's probably his role is he's more of a planner and more of a thinker because as we've talked about, he's a little bit more considerate. He seems more he has more of his shit thought through than Bill does. And like what we see what he does with the bride in just a little bit.
True. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe he's a little too trusting. That's what it is. He's that planner, but he's a little too good for the group.
I wonder, because I wish we had true answers for Bud. Because again, so interesting.
Yeah.
The character design is great. The costuming for him feels so gross and perfectly fits him.
Uh-huh.
The acting is also phenomenal. You really get this whole, like, drunk theologist sort of vibes from him, where like the more he drinks, the more he reminisces, the more he thinks about stuff, and the deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole he ends up going. Yeah. And that's why he now lives in the desert with the only functioning blender and ice maker for margaritas.
Yeah, Matt Madsen is fantastic in this role.
Absolutely so good.
But I do like, as we see more of him, it's like not just that he lives in a trailer in the middle of nowhere.
It's true.
Compared to all the others that we've seen so far, we know Bill's on the run somewhere. We don't know just yet.
Yeah.
We've seen that one settled in suburbia.
Yep. Tried to have the life the bride wanted.
One is leader of the Yakuza gang.
Yep. And both of those are dead.
Yeah. We don't know where California Mountain Snake is really.
We don't, but we've been introduced to her. So we know that she's like a backstabber, like espionage specialist.
Yeah. Even then, like she seems better off than Bud is.
For sure, everyone is better off than Bud.
But Bud has really fallen hard because it feels like there's that tinge of regret where he doesn't feel like he deserves a higher life because he's willing to work at a titty bar
as the bouncer.
As a bouncer, having that guy the owner control his life and cleaning up shitty water.
True, and that is something interesting because all of the snakes, and especially Bill, seem to have endless money in the way that many an adventure action movie does.
Yeah.
Where money, stay in the nice hotel, stay in the luxury pent suite, rent any car and then break it that you want. With the exception of Bud. And we don't ever get told that Bud's been, like, cut off. As far as we know, Bud and Bill are still on good terms.
Yeah.
So did Bud just, like, say no to the maybe dirty money?
Well, and maybe I think it's also just a front as well, because he wants people to think he's a certain person, which is a good way to blend into a lifestyle off the grid, because he even says, oh yeah, I hawked the Hattori Hanzo.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so maybe this is just his way of blending in, is pretending to be the broke guy.
Yeah, even to the point where he's wearing a shitty hat that he gets insulted with, which apparently that was his thing, and Tarantino hated the hat, so he snapped that line.
God, it is good though. It's very funny.
Yeah. Also of note, Sid Haig is the bartender, so that's always a nice. I love seeing Sid Haig in just random stuff.
I do too. A nice little cameo.
But even like when he's going back to his house, this is where I think it shows that he is the planner of the group.
Okay.
Of like maybe a little bit more of the mind. Bill's the overall thinker, but Bud is the fine detail guy.
Sure.
Is that he kind of guesses that she's out there looking up at that ridge.
Yeah. Like he already has planned out where he would be attacked from if he was going to be attacked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, when we get the bride back, she looks so dumb in this mask. Like she's so This
is bad, yeah.
It's really bad.
It's pretty bad.
But also, like, the way they build up the tension of it seems like Bud is just going about his day and he hears that noise and he's like, ooh, what's that out there?
True.
And that's why I think he's very much the planner of the group, is because when she opens up that door, immediately rock salt to the tits.
Also, rock salt. Not ammo, rock salt.
Exactly. And here's why I also like Bud and why he's such an interesting character compared to the other ones who were ready to kill the bride from the get-go.
True.
He had the decency not to kill her with a cheap shot. Granted, it's to torture her a little bit more, which brings up that he's kind of a horrible person, but it also feels like he doesn't want to kill her by his own hands. There's that
there's like reluctancy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of heart that he still has some respect for her in one regard or another.
True, but also maybe a squeamishness, because he does set her up for a very brutal death if it was to work the way he wanted it.
Yes. And as a part 2, or as just a second movie in general, it works well in the serial format. Mm-hmm. Because early on, we're bringing the bride back down so we can bring her back up as a even more powerful hero. It's that whole power increase of, Goku is fighting some other more powerful alien. Oh, well, let's kill him and send him back to heaven to train.
Well, and this is maybe the most literal interpretation of a, Phoenix Rising sort of version. Literally buried in a grave. How are we, we still have an hour left of this movie. How are we going to finish this out? Exactly.
So, but I also like that Bud still has, everyone's number on his flip phone, which, fancy for 2004.
Yeah.
But he's got, Mountain Snake's number, and,
he still can get a hold of everyone. Where everyone else seems to only be able to get a hold of Bill. And even then, maybe not.
Yeah, so maybe he had some other plans, but I do like that his only reason to reach out to her is to hawk the Hanzo sword.
For $1 million.
Yes.
I also love that he wants $1 million in cash tomorrow. Yeah. That's some action movie logic, and I love it.
Hey, all their money's dirty, so you know it's not in a bank account.
That's true. It's all freshly printed, hot off the press.
Exactly. But man, when they do go to bury the bride, they are so gross.
Yeah. This is where it gets back to being kind of hospital gross again.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's that kind of movie, so it does play back into it. We're reminded of all of the horrors of the first movie, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's also showing that Bud is, while we think a little bit sentimental at times, is hey, you keep acting this way, I'm gonna spray your eyeballs full of this mace, and now you're gonna be blind and suffocating.
Yeah, I mean, that would suck.
Yeah, and I think what goes to show where Bud's loyalties lie and why he's it might seem cruel, but maybe this is a little bit more merciful on him, is because that he's only doing this because she broke his brother's heart. Otherwise, he doesn't seem like he would have had the same qualm with her.
Yes.
To the point, maybe if she hadn't if maybe they had been a more amicable breakup, that he wouldn't have gone even to the Two Pines to kill her.
Which is interesting, because this is the very bro way of again, everyone loves Bill. Bud just is a very bro style. Yeah. But again, everyone has Bill up in the damn fucking clouds. Willing to be the worst to bury a person alive because you had a bad breakup? That's kind of wild, my man.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're all killers.
He's already shot her. Yeah. He's threatened to mace her. And now we're burying you alive.
But he's still giving her something of a little bit of hope, because he gives her the flashlight. There's that level of back and forth where that's why Bud's so interesting, is because while he is this dark person and while he's gonna bury her alive, he's giving her at least a little bit of comfort in the end. Of at least you'll die being able to see stuff. You're not going to be dying in the darkness.
And then it does bring about the thought, Bud has thought all of this through so far without any fail. And if, like you said, Bud is the true brains behind the operation, does Bud think she could come back from being buried alive? And the answer, I think, is maybe.
Yeah, I mean, well, think about it. If he's really the planner, he's got a buddy on speed dial who's like, hey, I gotta bury this bitch in some random grave.
And this is the first time that Bud has also, like, wanted, like, easy, untraceable cash. He's been happy to work for shits and giggles up until this point.
Working on shits and maybe some giggles.
That's true. I know, Giggle might be one of the dancers.
That would be a really weird stripper name. And tonight on the poll, we have Giggles.
I mean, it'd be terrible, but I also feel like someone would pay.
Oh, God, I just had a horrible idea. The serial killer, the giggling granny.
That would be terrible.
On the poll, we got the giggling granny.
Someone would pay. Someone would.
Yeah.
So here's, like, again, we don't get answers for Bud. And so, like, it kind of leads you down these wild theories of, like, is this Bud trying to quickly get some cash? He's buried her, so he's, quote-unquote, done his job, and now he gets to escape Bill.
Actually, I think that's a good point. Maybe that was his overall plan of what he was going to do.
Because, like, if he has thought this far ahead, thought of everything else, and he even calls her, like, the uncatchable or something like that, he knows how just wily and impossible she is. He's done, quote-unquote, his part. How could he know that she can punch through a coffin and dig up 6 to 8 feet of dirt?
He had to have known that she went and had the tutelage of Jaime.
If you're gonna be the group's, like, planner, you need to know what everyone can do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my fun fan theories, like, this, up until, like, the snake biting him and it all going bad, I think Bud was trying to get out from under Bill, and this was how he was gonna do it. Be like, bro, I killed her for you. Bye. Never call me again.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point of, like, maybe that was part of his plan for her to eventually get out.
Get out, and if she kills Bill, he never has to worry about it again.
Yeah.
He knows that most of the other snakes are already dead. He's only got one left to deal with, and she'll probably kill her too. He just has to run while she's digging.
Yeah, that's a good point. But even like the way Tarantino filmed this too, with the nailing down of the coffin and the light getting less and less.
It's very claustrophobic on film, and that's hard to do.
It is harrowing, but it also brings us back to her profile. On the brink of death, like in Volume 1, and immobile. So it's very much back to, okay, we've reset the clocks to, we're back at the level 1 again.
And this is a great way to do that without doing the Goku problem of, like, where do you level up next?
Yes.
Instead of leveling up, we just start again at square one.
To level up, we have to have a flashback, which...
yeah, that's true.
This is where a flashback is done very well, in my opinion.
Okay.
Where it's not just done for convenient storytelling. It's done to explain where we're going with this, because we have to know her past, and we can't explain her entire past to everyone. It's not done in some what's the term? I think of the actual film term of, like, explaining everything. I'm like, remember when I went and trained with Pai Mei? It's showing us instead of telling.
And I also think it does work because the rest of this movie, especially Volume 1, was shot out of sequence. So having a flashback doesn't feel jarring. It's not like the only thing out of place. We've already done this. It just wasn't in flashback mode.
Exactly. And that's why it doesn't feel like a flashback. It feels more like a memory for her.
Yes, I agree.
And also, Pai Mei.
Yeah. I love this scene because this is the goofiest part of, I think, both movies.
Okay, so he's interesting because he is based off the 17th century martial artist Bak Mei, who became a very legendary semi-real person.
And also the blueprints for every kung fu / martial arts film that has the long eyebrowed man known of all time.
Yes, and his character is in a few other wuxia martial arts flicks, including...
Of course.
Executioners of Shaolin, where he appeared against Gordon Liu, who plays Pai Mei in this movie, and was excited to play the part that he fought against in a handful of films.
I also love that this is done in the same way that a lot of martial art films take the, like, mysticism portion of their film. So it's got, like, the weird fog. We're in question. We don't know where we are. We were in Texas just a hot second ago. Where are we now? No one knows. The mists of Texas. Ooh.
Or we could be in the Far East.
Or we could be in China. Or we could be in the, St. Louis Botanical Gardens in a corner somewhere. Like, truly, it doesn't matter because it's like, again, it's that mystical world. It's that, like, spiritualness that's, like, so corny. Because at this point, it's been done to freaking death.
Yeah.
And Kill Bill went ahead and just said, you know what? Instead of rewriting it, instead of trying to, like, update it or, like, reinvent it, we're just going to do it exactly the same way the martial art films would have done it.
Exactly. Well, and on top of that, the way they set him up is the bride is facing another danger that's... It seems even more harrowing than being in the coffin of, like, okay, well, don't backtalk him. Don't even look at him wrong. He'll kill you if he wants to. And even to the point where, like, he's strong enough to kick Bill's ass.
Yeah. Bill didn't even, like, truly finish the training.
No.
Bill graduated with a B, maybe, at best.
Maybe an A-.
Maybe, but not good enough to get the special gold star.
Good enough to be able to recommend someone else to him, so.
Which is, I mean, impressive. But this is where we get another little sneak peek in Bill's character. Okay. And another little, like, peg in my argument for that Bill is quintessential abusive ex material. Okay. The brief scene we get on, like, while he's, like, getting her ready to, like, drop off at this arguably terrible place. She is batting eyelashes at him. She is head over heels. She is giggly girl in love. And he plays exactly the same character every time we see him.
She's just a tool to him.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I see where you're
going.
The
more you watch it, the more you realize that Bill doesn't actually love her.
Okay.
He's using her just like he's used all the others. She just happens to be the best tool. And she's giggly girl, teenage in love with him. And he's going to use that to his advantage. So he's wooing her with that little flute, his little wooden flute. And then he's like, I know a guy who can make you the best ever. He's so strong, I couldn't even beat him.
Yeah, he was my teacher.
He was my teacher, and he wouldn't even teach me the fancy special technique.
The 5-palm exploding heart technique?
Yes. Drops her off, and then goes, oh, by the way, he's the worst human ever. He'll kill you instantly, chop off your hands, eat your tongue if you talk back to... Like, he's so terrible. Don't ever do anything to piss him off. And remember that, I learned from him.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You see?
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. And while we do know that this master takes no shit, we are never proven that he's that level bad. Because the bride doesn't risk it.
Well, we do show that he's bad, but it's not with the bride. We find out late. We can see it later, but... Well, no, because that's the thing, is, like, he is cruel to her. Like, in their first confrontation. Like, immediately, he's just like, can you understand what I'm saying? Can you speak Chinese? It's like, oh, that's horrible. I know Japanese. I didn't ask you if you spoke that horrible Japanese language. I asked if you can speak Chinese.
Yes, but I think a lot of this writing is, like, playing up a bunch of those old movies where, like, the pupil doesn't understand well. The pupil comes in, like, straight off the street urchin sort of level, and, like, so I think a lot of this role...
Or they're a little too cocky for their own good.
Exactly. And so, like, the few times we see where, like, he's actually cruel, not just, like, an ass, is, like, kind of justified. Like, oh, you try and attack him, he will beat your ass. Because he's better than you.
He'll poke your eye out.
Yeah. And I think the rest of the retaliation that we see is just kind of standard martial arts master beats up pupil nonsense.
Yeah. But we do see that his skill of, like, how powerful he is, that he's able to stand on the end of a sword.
I love this because it's that gravity-defying martial arts. This is, like, where that started. Yeah. And it escalates and escalates until we're nowadays where they can do that and summon a giant snake.
Yep.
I love that. That's my favorite genre.
Well, and on top of that, it's starting to get funky with the music, kind of a nod to the older martial art, or the later, like, 70s martial arts flicks.
Definitely 70s.
Start to get that in there.
A little funky. Yeah. It's fun.
It's a solid training montage. I like it.
I do too, especially because it's a little bit more gritty than I think the, like, other training montages of the 70s kind of ended up being. Mm-hmm. Her, like, beating the absolute living hell out of her hands and then having to hold the chopsticks. I think that scene would have been shown in those movies. I know it was. I've seen some of those movies. but it's not as bloody.
No.
And, like, the master, like, forcing her to eat with the chopsticks, that would have happened, it wouldn't have felt as cruel. Because there would have been an immediate, like, lesson learned sort of situation.
Yeah, well, and we've also been warned about his cruelty, so it's not coming out of nowhere. It's not shocking. It's like, okay, that's understandable. We get why you're doing this. But on top of it, like, it's another level of, like, building her mythology.
100% it is, because it's almost unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for worst cover name of all time coming in later and just be like, oh, your old master? I killed your old master. He would have, like, disappeared into the fog, and no one would have ever seen him again. And in 100 years, they would have been like, oh no, he's still around. He's fine. He's immortal, actually.
Yeah, and until we find that out, as far as we're aware at this point, the bride's the only one who's gone through this training. As far as we know, Oren hasn't done it.
That's true.
Yeah, neither has, what's her name? Cottonmouth? No,
Copperhead.
Copperhead.
Which, again, leads to this idea of, like, each one of them has a specialty. Because as far as we know, Bud also hasn't done this training.
I don't think Bud would have.
I don't think Bud could have
those stairs.
I don't think Bud could have done it either. And we know that California Mountain Snake, again, idolizes and is goo-goo eyes for Bill, but she's not as good as the bride. And so she's just trying to be the bride again.
Yeah.
And so her specialty just happens to, like, she doesn't want it to be espionage. She doesn't want it to be trickery. She wants to be a swords master like the bride, because then maybe Bill will love her.
Yeah, well, and I think in this as well, with building her legend, it's also less Frankenstein-y than the last movie, because this is a flashback. It's not part of it in the present moment. And it's all just to show the skill that she needs to get out when she's calmed down. Like, she has a legitimate freak out, a little bit of, hey, I'm trapped in here, but...
And I mean, it all adds up, too, because the camera work and, like, the way that this scene is shown with her being in the box is so claustrophobic, watch.
Yeah.
And so her panic feels very justified. You don't feel like how some of those, especially, like, TV shows, when they show someone buried alive, you're like, just lay there. You seem fine. They'll come rescue you. Hers feels very intense.
Well, and it works so well into this slight nod to zombie movies.
Yeah.
Of her climbing out of the grave. And then even, like, when she's walking across the street all dustied and, like, even that kind of, like, zombie
She looks so stiff, so crusty.
Yeah, it is kind of a little funny to see, especially compared to the last segment.
And to end it with a water, please.
Yes. It's that blending of genres that works so well in this movie.
Absolutely.
And even in the first one, well, I say the first one's Frankenstein, it's because we've watched it so many times.
True, and I think, though, it works having a Frankenstein one at the beginning, because now we're kind of putting all these puzzle pieces in place. We knew she had the determination in the first one, now we're getting the reward of seeing where the skills come from.
Yes. And speaking of the mashing up of genres, when we do get to see California Mountain Snake.
Yes.
She's this badass chick with a badass car.
Yeah.
And the way she walks up to Bud's trailer is very much like a fistful of dollars, aka Yojimbo.
I agree.
But it's the way Tarantino works in, like, that danger siren. It feels weird, but it also gives us a hint again of, like, it's a little bit of a recreation of the first fight we saw with Copperhead, where it's, okay, she is the danger that's entering this. It's not going to go well for one of them.
Exactly. And unfortunately, and again, I think this is one of those interesting things. We've now theorized that Bud is the ultimate planner, and Bud couldn't plan for her level of espionage, which is interesting, because again, we're not given answers for Bud. We know about her. We know what her tactic is. We kind of come into this knowing what to expect in some way.
Well, and I think from, at least what I can deduce from Bud's point of view, is that he's not expecting the threat to be from within the group. He understands the bride's need for revenge, but he doesn't understand California Mountain Snake, why she would even double-cross him.
That's true, because, as far as he knows, she wants to be just like the bride.
Yep.
And the bride would never hurt Bill. And if Bill loves Bud, she wouldn't hurt Bud unless told otherwise.
Exactly. But also the way he writes the conversation in this scene, where it loops back in on what Bud was talking about earlier. And it's such a that's why I like Bud's character, why I feel so bad for like how he dies. One I do think it is a little bit poetic that he's killed by a black mamba.
I do think it is. I mean, what you have to write it in at some point for this movie, right? Yeah. You have all these snake assassins. Mm-hmm. Someone has to be bit by a snake.
Exactly. But man, it does make California mountain snake such a bitch.
Yes. And it kind of means that I am happy that she dies so quickly after this.
Oh no, she doesn't die quickly. Are you kidding me? She has probably, of the snakes that get killed, she has the worst fate, but the most deserving fate.
Her death is terrible. I just mean that in screen time, I don't have to hear her much longer.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there. She rides in the desert for a long-ass time, just off-screen.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But man, the start of that fight, that flying, cheesy drop kick to the chest.
Okay, but here's where it kind of gets fun, because we've had a lot of fights that are in nice, big, open spaces.
Yes.
This is a claustrophobic, tight, and it's in a believably breakable set.
Yes.
And that's where fun is, because having breakable stone walls and brick buildings where people are like punching through the whole building, it's not very realistic. And while this movie is very fanciful in a lot of aspects, there is some level of realism to it. Mm-hmm. Having his shitty plywood duct tape held together trailer be the thing that's just like busting through doors, windows coming out, going through the bathroom wall that has no structure to it. It's just a piece of like FRP hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, it forces them to use the martial arts because they can't use their swords at this point.
And again, it that change up in dynamic means that we're not getting the same action over and over and over again. Which, don't be wrong, I love a martial art film, but a lot of them do kind of start to sag by this point in a film where it's like, oh, I've already seen how we're going to fight. You just either add more people or you add a second person in to kind of throw it in. This is truly a different fighting style altogether.
Yeah, and that's my issue with like going through a lot of the older Shaw Bros movies.
Yeah, they get repetitive.
Yeah, the wuxia genre does kind of weave in and out with maybe some slight interest and some slight changes here and there.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, they're fun. But for a movie that's essentially 4 hours long, it would be really boring to have everyone fight the same way every time.
Yeah. And what's also a little bit more interesting about this, about just the fights in general, is that Tarantino had everything planned out so well. Usually in a script, you have, and then they fight.
And you let your fight choreographer handle a lot of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to the point where his fight choreographers were like, why do you even need us if you have all of this already like meticulously planned out?
I think they were literally only there for insurance reasons.
And
even then it's a light guess.
I think the reason is Tarantino liked them and he just wanted to.
He wanted them on set,
and I worked with them.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah. But also, the scene with the toilet, that is so gross.
It's so gross. But again, it shows that she's extra clever. It shows that she is ready to think on her feet. Whereas Bud, I mean, while we've seen that he's really great at planning far ahead, he's not very good at adapting.
No. Well, and I think also when you say not good at adapting, it also goes to him just being a sentimental man of that he puts on a face, but he's really not who he is on the outs or who he's outwards to this group of killers, because we see that he kept his Hanzo sword as like he just wanted to look like he didn't care anymore.
And I think that kind of goes to, again, we really only have two male guys to compare, Bud and Bill. And Bud seems to be very sentimental. He thinks deeply about this. He has emotions and regret about all this. Bill seems to be the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Bill does not have attachments to this mortal plane, it seems. At least not that don't benefit him.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say, is like he has attachments only as long as they conveniently work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, too, is like it does... that's why I like Bud so much.
I do too, and I'm sad to see Bud go, but yeah, the snake bite is like the perfect way.
Yeah,
it's the most poetic way to go.
And that's the thing, is like when I first watched this movie, I thought Bud was the least interesting. Okay, he's just one more person you have to get through.
Sure, he does seem just like another name.
But yeah, upon rewatching, he's so much better.
He's so interesting, and honestly, I could see a spin-off movie that's like pre all of this, focusing on Bud.
I don't want that.
I don't want it either.
I don't want that at all.
I also don't want it, but I can see it.
Okay.
Because there's so many questions left on Bud.
Exactly. We could spend all episode on it, too.
We really could.
But even in the middle of the fight, I do like that they kind of give California Mountain Snake that little bit of, oh, why the eye patch? Well, it's because she dared to go against Bill's direction and pissed off the Pai Mei.
Yes, which is, I mean, we don't know exactly what happened, because it's like flashback. We know that the memories aren't like a 1-for-1 per se, but we also know that she's like the worst.
Yeah, well,
so like you kind of feel like, oh, she probably had it coming.
Well, here's why she's the worst. The bride will be upfront with everyone, and why she's the California Mountain Snake is such a pale imitation is because, one, here's the thing. She's not necessarily espionage, as you were bringing up.
Sure.
She's a poisoner.
Yes. She's like a backstabber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not espionage. It's more so, okay, she's going to be the sneaky death. She went to kill the bride with some type of needle and drug.
While she was unconscious.
Yeah, she killed Bud with the snake.
Hidden in the money.
She killed Pai Mei with a poisoned fish head.
Yeah. Like, these are all cheap ways, like, especially for this movie that values, like, this honor code so strongly. These are all cheap, terrible ways to kill someone.
It works as an assassin against your target. It's cheap if you're using it against your own people.
And it kind of plays into that old, like, I don't know if 70s is necessarily the right time frame, maybe closer to, like, 60s. A bunch of those movies would come out with, like, the idea of, like, oh, there's the honorable swordsman against the ninja. Or against the, like, spy sort of, shadow guy.
That's been around forever. I mean, hell, you look at the older early samurai movies, and there's always this level of chivalrousness or some type of honor code that we've not just that, we've seen it used across history. It's been used and abused. I mean, hell, look at chivalry. Like, in the 90s and 2000s, like, oh, chivalry is all for, it's how men treat women. It is a small chapter in a much larger book on chivalry. How to be a knight.
Yes. Oh, 100%. And I think this is kind of a call back to those sorts of movies where they talk about, oh, well, there's an honorable way to kill someone.
Yes.
And she's doing the unhonorable method of, like, poisoning people, hiding spring traps, essentially. Doing things without actually, like, taking a sword and just fighting them the correct way. Yeah, a fair
fight.
Which, while I don't think the bride is necessarily above, she just happens to have fought quote unquote honorably each time because she's a swordsman.
No, I think it is 100%. It's not that it's, oh, she fought honorably. What I think it more so is it's more about it's not about the tool, it's who's wielding the tool. And it goes to show that the reason she would never be the bride is because that she doesn't have that level of experience. She never went through the full training of Pai Mei, which we know Bill sending her to Pai Mei was just a replacement for the bride.
Exactly. 100%.
And so in the face of the true, authentic article,
she fails.
She fails. Yeah. Because, like, they're at a stand match with the swords, and it's, pull out your eye.
Yeah, got your eye.
Which, this is why it's the coldest death, is she leaves her. She doesn't kill her.
No, she leaves her.
She leaves her to rot in the desert, either starvation, most likely dehydration.
Or potentially animal getter.
Or the mamba.
Because the mamba's still there. Yeah, and they leave that just hanging.
Yeah.
And this is, like, the difference between them, is we see how when the bride is put in a, like, guaranteed death situation, there is a hope of, like, oh, well, she could make it out. It's an impossible odd, but she will do it.
Yeah.
Whereas with this character, no one questions that she dies.
No.
None of us even consider the chance that she walks her ass through the desert and asks for a glass of water at the only counter in town.
And even if she does live, what's she gonna do? She can't see. She's not gonna be a Zatoichi character.
I mean, that would be cool, but no, she won't, because that's not the type of person she is.
No.
I would believe the bride doing it. I cannot believe that Mountain Snake possibly could.
Because she takes the easy way to get through stuff.
Exactly. So I fully believe that she dies in the desert.
Yeah, 100%.
That's like, there's no other option. Like, her character wouldn't make sense any other way to me.
Exactly. But with all the snakes out of the way...
Yes, we're down to only 2.
Yes, and I like that in order to find Bill, she has to go to find his father figure in a way to build Bill's legend a little bit more that, hey, he grew up, maybe Bill was a good kid at one point, but he just lived in a horrible situation and he was destined to be a horrible man because his dad was a pimp.
Yeah, who's living in the jungle, still pimping.
Yeah, he's a cruel man, but here's the thing. Bill's dad, cruel man.
Yes.
But Bill takes it up a notch. And I think that's the thing is his dad feels like the groundwork that set Bill to be the horrible man he is.
And another peg goes in the board for my proof that Bill is the quintessential abusive ex.
Okay.
Because his father was the abusive shit of a man.
Yeah.
And instead of changing his life around and saying, I'm going to be better than my father, Bill just learned everything his father did and then took it up a notch.
Yeah, he learned that might made right.
Yeah. And now he had, or, has is now past tense, he had a little harem of attack women and his weird brother.
His not even his weird brother, his awesome brother, as we've talked about.
Which is now the awesome brother because we've dissected him too far. And essentially, pimping again. But instead of, on the side hustling for money and men, we're killing. He is turned into a worse version of his father. A more extreme version of his father.
Yeah.
He hasn't improved himself, despite what Bill, especially end of movie Bill, would tell you.
Yeah, well, actually, now that you bring that up, because it starts off with, do you think I'm sadistic?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And I would argue probably narcissistic as well.
Oh, 100%. I mean, hell, look at him. He has a harem.
He does have a harem.
What other men are not narcissistic if they have a harem?
That's a good question. I haven't thought on it deeply.
Hell, I mean, I think it's those guys who think they're so manly that they can please all these women. It's just like...
But here's the thing. I don't think Bill thinks he can please all of them. He wants them to please him. That's the most narcissistic thing about him. Yeah, again, everything is for Bill. Bill doesn't do anything for anyone else.
He's built a little bit of a cult.
Yes. Bill, and again, a lot of cult leaders, narcissistic tendencies. Can we diagnose all of them? No, because I am not a psychologist. No. I only listen to a lot of podcasts on the subject. But
that doesn't make you an expert either.
Well, no, it doesn't. But I would argue, this is again on my wall with string going everywhere, all leaning to Bill being a narcissistic, abusive asshole. This is all proof in my web.
I just had a horrible vision of your web of strings, and you just have them pinpointed, and over his face is just a sphincter.
Honestly. Bill deserves it.
The string makes the asshole.
You know what? Bill is the ultimate dick. And ultimate asshole for sure.
For some, he's the ultimate dick. If you get my drift.
Bill thinks he is. Bill thinks he is. That's for sure.
Yeah, very much so. But I do, even though it's a relatively short scene, I think it's a great way to just build that one last level of assholeness before the final confrontation.
Yes, and if you're watching this for the first time, I think Bill is a softer character because you watch it from the bride's perspective. And she still, despite her hating Bill, has that obsession with him. She still has a softness. And all of the backstories, she has that head over here puppy dog love. And so seeing the terrible man that is Bill's father, the first time you watch this, you do walk away with oh man, poor Bill, no wonder he turned out the way he did.
Well, it also feels like it's not so much supposed to be building about Bill, but it's more so the bride... It feels like
an excuse.
It feels like the bride trying to learn about Bill and why he became the way he was, instead of breaking away from, okay, he did this because of X, Y, and Z. Well, why did he leave? What led up to him being this way?
And I 100% think that watching this from both the bride's perspective and then rewatching this movie from outside of her perspective, holding a bunch of red flags and throwing them whenever Bill is, like, problematic, changes how you see Bill dramatically. Because the first time you watch this, yeah, you're like, oh man, she's trying to understand Bill, and it softens Bill enough so that when she does find him, yeah, she's pissed, yeah, she would like to kill him, but she's already, like, chipped away on that edge just a little bit. And Bill knows that, and Bill has prepared for this situation.
So here's the thing, I don't think it's chipped away at all. I think what it is she's so ready. It's just that one also Uma Thurman's acting of, like, the shock on her face.
Amazing.
Before it's even revealed to us, we know what she's seen.
Yes, it's amazing. It's such good acting.
And just like, it's like, okay, she was ready to go into this guns and swords. Guns and
swords. I think she would have done it no matter how she had to.
But it's that quick change in shock that's put her out of it. It's not that she's been chipped away to that point. It's the sudden shock and reveal that her daughter's alive to her.
Yes.
And it also kind of makes this movie, in a weird way, Sleeping Beauty adjacent.
In a way.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's red flags in that movie too. We talked about them. So.
Yeah.
This one's just riddled.
Yeah.
Riddled, I say.
At least she's more interesting than Sleeping Beauty.
Well, she's awake a lot longer, so there's that.
Fair.
This movie's also 4 times the length.
Maybe 3 times.
3 and some, yeah. Is... That first movie, I mean, long for the time. Impressive by that standard. This movie's hella long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you do it in one sitting.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when we get introduced to the daughter, it's in a very play assassin level of, like, cowboys and Indians of bang bang, I shot mommy dead.
And then we kind of, like, she plays along, she, like, tries really quickly to fall in that role that Bill tells her to play.
Yes.
And another peg goes in my board.
Exactly, because that here's where Bill had that planned out, is it's not that he knew she was chipped away. He knew the shock would set her back enough where he could calm her down enough. And
start directing her actions and feelings again.
Yes.
And so he's, again, wrapped her around his fingers as far as, like, well, not only, like, he hasn't even had to threaten her yet with her daughter. Like, oh, if you don't, I'll take her. She's so pre-primed to have that, like, mindset to Bill. He doesn't even have to.
Well, I think he has this idea. I think what Bill has is this idea that things are going to be hunky-dory now, or he can rework it to benefit him. He can work
it to benefit him. She is hoping for that first initial, like, dream.
Yes, because we have this slow down into domestic life of what she's thinking. Oh, daddy's making sandwiches for us. Oh, life's gonna go well. But what Bill does that I think sets the bride back into motion is he starts talking about how basically the Emilio's story of their daughter stepped on their goldfish.
On her pet goldfish, yeah.
And setting up her proclivity to be a killer from the get-go, where Bill is trying to say, oh, your death softened me just like your daughter felt something after she killed her fish. But at the same time, he's like, look at what I'm training our daughter to do, because she's wanting to go to bed watching Shogun's Assassin, which is like...
It's pretty violent for a kid.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Shogun's Assassin is the heavily edited and dubbed mix of the first 2 Lone Wolf and Cub movies, also written by the same guy who did Lady Snowblood.
And while by today's standards they're not, like, overly violent or overly bloody, I would argue that for a child who's meant to be under 10, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't do the math to know exactly how old this kid is meant to be, because it's a kid actor. I know they probably got an actress who is older than the role was written for, because that's what Hollywood does.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to work with older kids. So, like, I don't know if she's supposed to be 6, and I don't know if she's supposed to be 10. She's somewhere in that range, right? Like, she's too little to be watching what is actually a very violent movie. Especially for bedtime.
That's actually about the age I watched Alien.
Yeah, and you and I ended up weird. Like,
yeah. Well, that's what's weird about the scene too, is like when you watch it the first time, it's this sweet moment that she's settling into domestic life. She has an evening to sit with her daughter and chill and watch a movie with her. Something she thought was never going to be a possibility at the start of the, or early on in this movie because when she's dried up, 2, she thinks her daughter's dead.
Yep.
So now it's supposed to be this super sentimental moment, but when you start looking at it, it's like Bill is training her daughter and conditioning her daughter to be the next bride, or Beatrix.
And on top of that, the daughter already, despite being at an age where most kids are pretty, like, they want to be independent, so there's a lot of, like, no, don't do that. No, I'll do it. There's a lot of, like, independence that is wanted there. This kid doesn't have any of that. Bill seems to have managed to create another very placid, very moldable person who will do what he says, when he says it. Not just in the same way as, like, oh, I'm making the next bride. He's made a tool to control the bride. Maybe replace, because he tried that with Mountain Snake.
Well, maybe his female version of the next Bill.
Probably. But, like, we know that he tried to replace the bride once with California Mountain Snake, and that failed massively. And so he's gone back to figure out ways to control her now that she's back.
Yeah.
And if you have a daughter or a tool child who, if you say drop, she drops on a dime, boy, you can do a lot with that. And he does.
Yeah. His own child soldier.
Yeah. That's messed up, man.
Yeah. Bill's horrible.
Bill is really horrible.
Well, and, like, that's the thing is, like, we had this slowdown of, like, the domestics. And then it feels like there could be that slight potential change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill brings it right back to business, even trying to make, like, their duel feel, like, super romanticized and, like, a casual battle on the beach.
And here's the interesting thing. In this dialogue where he and the bride are, it's not even really that they're talking. Bill talks at her almost this whole time. There's more than one line where Bill seems like he's going to take responsibility for the hurt that he's done to her. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't. No. Every single time that it gets close to, like, I hurt mommy. Well, why did you hurt mommy? Well, because mommy did something bad.
Yeah.
The blame is always put back on her in that, again, a point on my board, abusive ex sort of bullshit.
Yeah, and on top of that, when she does try and lash out, he shoots her with a trank gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he is prepared for her in every way, and at the same time, like, they play out this battle in the most modern version, because especially since this has been so reliant on those existing movies that Tarantino grew up with, very, very much those 70s and 80s martial art films that had a lot of that honor and code system. Well, now we're kind of in that 90s territory with some spy sort of nonsense happening here. Like, the penthouse, gorgeous. A little bit, I'm a world traveler coded. There's a lot of, like, stucco, and then the swords are displayed, and he's got some African masks in the background, and some fish on the wall to make it feel more, like, Caribbean. Yeah. But we're probably in Texas, ? Maybe California? Hard to say.
We have no clue.
But
yeah, no, I 100% where you're getting with that, too. And, like, just his analysis of, while his analysis in the Superman speech is spot on, that he's like, you're a killer, you would have been pretending to be someone else than who you are.
Yes. But is that so bad?
No, it's not. And that's the thing.
But Bill makes it out to seem like it is.
It makes it out because Bill couldn't break the cycle, and the bride was at that point where she was going to break the cycle.
Yeah.
But it does work as an analogy for her.
It does. It works beautifully.
And to put another peg into your board.
Thank you.
She's forced to be emotional. Instead of being allowed to be emotional and unmasked to him, he forces her to do it with the drug concoction that he says is supposed to give you euphoria.
But it doesn't.
It does later.
It does later, but...
But in this moment, it's him forcing her to be emotional for him. And to answer his questions.
Yes, to answer his questions, she's getting emotional. And then as she gets more and more emotional, that's when he starts bringing up, like, the drug normally gives people this euphoric effect. I don't know why you're so upset.
Yeah.
Again, another point on my board.
Exactly. Now that's a very good point. I didn't even think of it in that regard.
Again, I watched this movie a lot.
Yeah. But, like, I do appreciate that while we have yet another flashback, the way Tarantino does flashbacks is it doesn't feel like it's a way to explain something. It's a way to inject a different type of emotion. Because with the pregnancy test, it shows that she has this life-changing thing. She drops her guard and almost gets killed.
Yep. But there's like a honor among women assassins.
Yes, and that's the interesting thing that he does with it. It's a very good woman-to-woman standoff.
Yes. And it's bringing the entire story back around to that first thing that he wanted, which was a female revenge story.
Yes.
And what better way to do that but tie back in, like, the ultimate, like, bonding moment of, like, congratulations, run away.
Yeah, one of the biggest experiences in a woman's life could be having a child. Not everyone, but for some, like...
But also, like, that understanding of, like, she is telling the assassin, like, I'm terrified, but I want this. And she's like, you know what? Woman to woman, congrats.
Yeah, it's such an awkward congratulations, too.
But also, like, it's the most, like, girl-coded part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, those two feel like they are, like, better acquaintances than the other snakes are to her. Because we don't ever see the snakes congratulate her. Because as far as we know, she didn't tell anyone. Yeah. But we don't know, because it doesn't show that. There's no real camaraderie between them. There's only infighting.
Yeah, in the timeline, it's the first break in having to be this killing machine. It's like, it's the first time treated as a human, and then the next time we would have seen her is with her bridesmaids, who are
her coworkers.
No, we don't even know if they're coworkers. They're just friends who are there supporting her.
That's true. She's finally made another life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too, is like, while Bill, absolutely asshole and
100%
trying to impose where he wants things to go, she is also she's being forced to admit that she probably would not have made it either, but at least she would have tried.
Yes. And honestly, that's maybe the best thing.
And that's where the movie shifts, is that she starts to stand over Bill morally, as much as someone who's paid to kill a bunch of people can.
Yeah, but again, like, while this movie, again, the second half does answer so many questions about the characters, where really, minus Bud, you feel like everything's tied up nicely. The world itself is so open-ended. We really don't know how this world functions. Again, there's a whole nest full of female killers, and there's a market for that, and no one questions it, and there's also...
Charlie's Angels.
No, again, but, like, it's that fantasy world, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it all kind of, like, ties together up here at the end.
Yeah, well, and I think the way he frames it, too, is... If you're watching it the first time, not from the perspective of our discussion, she does also feel a little cruel of putting Bill through thinking that she was dead. But...
Sure, but again, that is, a point on my board.
Exactly.
The asshole X thing of, like, turning it all on your fault. I wouldn't have punched you, babe, if you had just stopped doing that.
You didn't understand my love.
Yeah, I just got so emotional that you would sneeze at the wrong time. I had to put a hole through the wall.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
Like, it's that level of nonsense. And so, I remember now. The daughter's name is BB. B.B. And we know that Beatrix did not get to name her daughter. Yeah. Because she wasn't there for her being born. I don't think anywhere it's stated exactly what BB stands for, but my theory is that Bill named her Bill Beatrix.
Or Billy Beatrix.
Billy Beatrix. His name first.
Well, it also is a short for baby. BB.
Yeah, I mean, another cute little, like, baby. I feel like baby's like the quick instant, like, she's the baby. But also Bill's crazy enough to go full in.
Well, he's also, as we know, not as sentimental as we think he is.
No, but I could see him naming the next prodigy after himself.
Yeah, it's like naming your dog. I named the baby.
Or, better yet, name your dog you Jr. Like, I would name my dog Christine Jr. I do think that's hilarious. But that's because it's a dog.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, my assassin child.
Yeah, very
that I
so.
cut out of my ex. Like, those are different. Those are different scenarios.
Yeah. Well, we don't even know that he cut her out.
That's true. She's in a coma. There's it's messy. It's messy. We don't know.
Lots of unanswered questions that we don't need.
We don't need.
But I do like that this final showdown is really quick, and it just happens in really the flash of an eye before you realize, oh shit, she learned the 5-palm exploding heart technique that it shows that everyone hates Bill to the point that Pai Mei taught her this as an insurance that fuck this guy.
She was given the best sword for free to kill Bill.
Yeah.
And then was taught the 5-finger death punch for free to kill Bill.
Yes.
but here's the last thing that I will say about, like, the martial artsness of this movie.
Okay.
This final battle being over in a snap. Literally, like, a half a second. Bam, bam. Done. We don't linger on it. We don't take extra time on it. There's not a bunch of blows back and forth, like, showing off our prowess. Makes this feel so much more in line with those, like, traditional martial arts films to just, like, prove that she truly is the better martial artist. Mm-hmm. She schools him just like a teacher would have.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Yeah, she's become the ultimate weapon that Bill wanted her to be. The unfortunate thing is...
she used it on him.
Yep. Or fortunate thing for him. Or for her.
For her. But yeah, like, the thing that Bill... I genuinely think Bill never thought would truly happen. Her truly turning on him.
Yes.
I think he thought all the way to the end he would be able to worm his way into having her under his thumb again. Yep. And if not, he'd kill her and he'd have BB.
And it goes back to, like, him being somber, like he knows his fate's sealed at the journey's end.
And I think it's so funny that he goes, "Oh, you used it. How do I look?"
Yeah.
What an asshole thing to say.
Yeah, it's back to him of like, well...
world revolves around him.
Yeah, I'm gonna die looking good, at least, compared to, like, the way I could have ended.
And again, no apology. No, no recognition of his love to her. Like, it's not sentimental. It is all about Bill. How do I look? Oh, he taught it to you. Damn, he wouldn't even teach me.
Yep.
All right, walk off to the sunset doesn't actually make it 5 steps, which I do think is kind of funny. I think he makes it 4, maybe 3.5.
Well, I think the other thing it does is it shows that it gives emotion to the bride that she, in a way, it does feel like she didn't want to do this.
No, but I don't think she did, because she was really, like, she lived most of her life under him. Mm-hmm. Like, truly, like, to her, head over heels in love with this man.
Yeah, and on his side, this is also, while being self-centered,
yeah,
in a way, he gives the last courtesy he could, because he says, "Oh, you know when you walk 5 steps." That's all it stipulates. It doesn't mean that he can't do anything else, pull a gun on her. He's
true.
Giving her revenge in his last moments of, like, he could prolong it if he probably tried a little bit, but he's just, okay, well, you made it. Good job. I'm gonna die now.
Yeah, which again feels like, I mean, it's the movie, so like we have to have some dramatic end.
Yeah.
But it ties back into him being like just the worst. Mm-hmm. Because again, instead of being like, well, if I sit still for the rest of my life, I could be there for you and BB. Exactly. No, he's like, off to the sunset, bye!
His last grace is giving her the ability to leave without ever having to worry that he'll be waiting.
And I don't think he saw it as a grace. No. I think he saw it as like, the best thing on the planet, off to die.
Die stoically.
Yes, I 100% think that's how, like, that character would think.
Very much so.
And honestly, that's what makes Kill Bill, especially Volume 2, which I would argue is my favorite of the two. If I have to pick a half, I think Volume 2 interests me more. I have more fun rewatching this.
All right.
And I think that's a lot of the reason, because you spend so much time being able to pick apart these characters that are honestly really detailedly built, despite, like, we really don't get into, like, the actual characters and arcs of each one's thought process.
It's more talky than Volume 1.
Yeah, but not in a way that feels like it drags on. You don't feel like anyone's explaining anything overly to you. Again, we spent a long-ass time deciding that we think Bud is the ultimate, like, planner. Yeah. And we were not told any of that. You are just shown it.
You're given the little inklings to potentially lead to whatever conclusion you can think of.
And honestly, I think that's a lot of the fun of Kill Bill. Some Tarantino films keep this theory and, like, this method up, and some of them he kind of gives you, like, the straight run through. Yeah. I think, to me, Kill Bill is one of his best movies ever because he leaves the writing like this. These characters are very realistic. They pull from a bunch of really fun and interesting places, and all of them have this depth that we don't have to be told. I can just infer. And that means every time I watch this, I pull something new. I notice another little detail. And that's the best part about a movie.
Exactly. And I mean, especially with the ending of this, where she wakes, it's the next morning, the daughter's watching cartoons. I think it's the bittersweet moment of she is in this forced state of euphoria because the drug's so delayed. But she's also like, she's also in like mourning too of like,
I definitely read it as her grieving Bill.
Oh, she's 100% grieving Bill, but she can't because of the drug at the same time
I 100% took it as her just so grieving Bill, but having to pull her shit together because BB's in the next room.
Exactly. And it's that last scene of her having to have a bowl of cereal with her daughter as Meiko Kaji's song rolls the credits.
And it's such a perfect little ending because, again, it adds that hope that now she will get the new life. Yeah. She will get to live that nice suburbia, which if you remember back to the first movie at the very beginning, that's what she wanted.
Yep.
Now she potentially could have it. If only there wasn't some young, impressionable girl who she may have killed her mother or mentor or best friend.
Yeah.
You know?
It leaves that's the
cycle continues.
The bittersweet thing about the ending of this movie is that it is so set up for a good final bout for a part 3, but at the same time, it's been so long that I really don't want a part 3 anymore. Like I've talked about, I still think Copperhead's daughter coming back as like the Find Me When I'm Older best conclusion to this franchise.
100%. And okay, I did, between last recording of this one, I did find an interview where Tarantino talks about quote unquote Kill Bill 3.
Okay.
And he had fun with, like, oh, yeah, you know, I did leave a lot of stuff, like, for, you know, open-ended, because it's a whole story, there's a whole world there. But he did talk about how he didn't think a Kill Bill 3 made any sense. To him, Kill Bill 3 was the re-release where he finally got to put in the extra bits he wanted. It was all done in one big go. And so to him, that is Kill Bill 3.
Yeah, this is the end of the Bride story. And I get it. You don't want to come back and have a legacy of characters that the last 6 movies didn't seem like they meant anything because they're still doing the same thing. So we got to repeat the technically 3rd one or 4th one in the franchise and kill off the legacy characters because reasons.
And that is something that I will give Tarantino a lot of credit for. He pulled from a lot of movies that did do a part 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, depending on which one of the movies pulling from we're talking about here. I do think he kind of learned a bit of a lesson from them as far as, like, maybe potentially selling this off to someone else and having a TV show or, you know, having the characters keep spiraling forever, have BB be the next main character sort of situation.
Yeah.
I do think he learned from the movies he watched, the movies he pulled from.
You leave enough open-ended, but you don't always have to follow it up with something.
100%. However, with that said, will I put my money on that? There will never be a Kill Bill True 3 where we get a new story and a new arc. No, of course not, because while Tarantino does own the rights to this, the world is messy, and as we've seen, the original creator might not want it, but the studio might.
Yeah, we'll see when he passes.
Or if for somehow enough money comes by.
Hell, I mean...
Or a weird legal problem happens, because we've noticed that happening too.
I mean, the Bride and Go-Go were in Fortnite, so...
Yeah. There's some weird licensing loopholes that we're now learning about, because, like, technology is moving so fast.
Yeah.
And so, will I say, no, I don't think there will ever be Kill Bill 3? I don't, because I honestly think eventually someone will probably make a Kill Bill 3. Will I like it? I don't know. I hope so, but let's just say I don't watch numbers 6 through 8 with a lot of high hopes on a lot of these other martial art movies.
Yeah,
so
very much so. Except for Zatoichi, that's one you should have high hopes for.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is you go in being like, wow, Zatoichi number 10? I don't know. And then it's good, and you're like, oh, that was alright.
Yeah.
If you start low, everything's good from there, right?
Yeah. So then, Chris, on our good, bad, weird scale, what do you give Kill Bill Volume 2?
This, for me, is a solid, endless good.
Okay.
There is weird stuff in it, don't get me wrong. It's Tarantino, and it's Kill Bill. It's pulling from a lot of movies that we don't really have context for. the weird monk master with his eyebrows is a kind of a weird scene for American audiences.
Yeah, if you're not into wuxia films and whatnot.
And honestly, I think a lot of people, especially nowadays who are watching Kill Bill, probably don't know where these references are coming from.
But they know now the reference because of Kill Bill.
Exactly. So while there is weird, I would say there is not enough weird for me to say it is a weird movie. Yeah. I would say it's just good. Just go in knowing that you might consider researching and watching some of the movies that he talks about pulling from.
Yeah, I gotta give this one a solid good 2. I can't lean into the weird enough. Yeah, There's still some Frankensteininess to it of like...
Sure.
Okay, we've gone from this wuxia martial arts Japanese samurai Yakuza flick to a Western noir intro / little bits of horror here and there. But
it works.
Exactly. It works so much more fluidly than the last one.
I agree.
And for me, it's not my favorite part.
I understand.
I like 1 a lot more just because...
I think most people do.
And I think part of it is, while don't get me wrong, the dialogue's great, I think it works because it is Frankenstein. I like that it's this amalgamation of Tarantino's favorite movies that he was able to throw together.
Well, and let's be honest. The first one is the one that, like, from a movie poster situation, that's the iconic imagery. Yeah. That's got the jumpsuit, it's got the fight scenes, it's got the sword, it's got the music. Yeah, the first one's amazing. I just now am infatuated with this spin-off series I have in my head of Bill and his brother.
Bill and Bud.
The weird duo.
Bill and Bud's Fantastic Adventures.
It's kind of what it feels like, because again, every time I watched the second one, I managed to answer a question for myself I wasn't aware I was thinking.
Yeah, I feel the second one ends up being a more return to form for Tarantino.
100%. This is very close to a lot of his other movies.
Yeah.
But
in style.
Yeah.
So then, Chris, do you recommend watching Kill Bill Volume 2?
Absolutely. This one I think is slightly less bloody and gory than the first one, but not by much. So
it's a lot less. It's so much less to the point that he didn't have to turn a scene black and white to avoid an NC-17 rating.
That is true. However, there is the one scene where we get the eyeball under the toes.
Yeah.
Which, it's Tarantino, and...
It's fine.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad. So I do recommend this one a little bit more openly than the first one. I understand how the first one might be a little squeamish for some, but the second one, I think is so good. Yeah, I do recommend it. And if you haven't seen it in a while, I do recommend trying to have a full movie day where you watch these both back to back.
Yeah. So you're saying that a Japanese schoolgirl getting a nail bored to the side of the head isn't everyone's taste?
No, again, the first one's a little more weird than this one.
Yeah. No.
But again, truly the way to enjoy this is set yourself up, start early enough in the evening, and honestly watch them back to back. It is so much better that way.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of I do definitely recommend this as a 2-parter. You can't it's one of those ones where yes, I do recommend it, but you can't watch this one without watching the first one. It just doesn't have that same impact.
No.
And even the change of pace
it's so different
in a good way though, because otherwise if you had a lot of the same of Kill Bill Volume 1 and this one, I don't think it would have been as well. It's just like, okay, you just did Volume 1 again.
Nope, I completely agree. And while I'm sure someone out there is going to say, well, I watched only the second one, well, you're missing out. Because again, I see where Tarantino says, like, no, I wanted people to watch the first one, leave the theater, get some more popcorn, go to the bathroom, and then come back and watch the second one almost immediately.
Exactly.
And honestly, I agree. That is the way to do it. That's how I watched it like 2 weeks in a row for a while there. So, yeah, if you can, definitely.
Yeah, I still need to see the whole bloody affair, so...
I think you'll enjoy it.
Probably. But our female revenge arc may be coming slightly to an end and was a pretty straight line of inspirations, but we do have one final little micro review that brings us back full circle to another Kaji revenge flick. So
one last one.
One last one, and also a hint at the next series that we're going into that maybe you shouldn't go in blind.
Oh, what a hint.
But anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Thank you for stopping by this here town of the Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, The Bad, and The Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, The Bad, and The Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always, check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace!